If you think you need to live in the gym and sacrifice your life to build the body you want, listen up. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly how you can cut your gym time in half and build more muscle while having more time for the other areas of your life. If you don't believe me, then look at some of the results people in my community are experiencing following this approach. There are two training methods that exist: high volume, low intensity training, and low volume, high intensity training. Let's start by clarifying what these terms mean. Volume is the total amount of work you're doing in the gym. This is the sets, reps, and exercises. Intensity is how hard you're pushing your sets and how close you're taking them to failure. And training to failure means taking a set to the point where, with good form, you cannot move the bar for one more rep. You'll notice that high volume, high intensity training isn't one of the training methods. Why is that? Because you can train long or you can train hard, but you can't do both. In other words, you can't do both a ton of exercises, sets, and reps, aka volume, while at the same time training with high intensity and pushing your sets close to failure. When I started taking weight training seriously at 13 years old, I trained 5 to 6 days a week and spent hours in the gym pumping light weights for endless amounts of sets and reps. My life was consumed by the gym. I thought that the more time I spent in the gym, the better my gains would be. After all, every popular workout program I could find on the internet consisted of 5 to 6 workouts a week and a ton of training volume. I didn't know what else to do, but one thing I knew for sure was that I wasn't getting much in return for all the time and effort I was putting into the gym. There came a point where I realized that the gym was taking much more from me than it was giving me, and I didn't sign up for that. I got into fitness to improve my life and build my confidence up because I was fat and insecure throughout my childhood. I slowly reduced the amount of time I was spending in the gym, not necessarily because I thought I was going to get better results, but because I was tired of wasting my life away. I also didn't have anything to lose since my results had been underwhelming up to this point, and quite frankly, I knew deep down that even if I managed to get results following this routine, I wouldn't be able to sustain it. I went from 5 to 6 workouts a week down to 4, and then I went from 4 workouts a week down to just 2 to 3, and I noticed something really interesting. While I was spending less time in the gym and doing less volume, the quality of my training increased. I found myself able to bring a level of focus and intensity to my workouts that I didn't know I was capable of. I was able to train harder since I no longer had to spread my effort thin to get through my workouts. I started feeling fresh and recovered. I started going to the gym with enthusiasm and excitement, and training was no longer a chore since I wasn't in the gym 24/7. This reduction of training allowed me to finally start making progress in the gym. I was gaining strength and hitting personal records in every single workout, and I was finally able to build muscle because my effort was laser focused and I was training with the intensity required to stimulate muscle growth. Best of all, my life was no longer consumed by the gym. I fell in love with working out and I started looking forward to my workouts each week instead of dreading them. My consistency became unshakable because I was following an approach I could stick to. This was how I learned about the trade-off between volume and intensity. And if you want to spend less time in the gym and build a great physique, it's critical that you understand this trade-off and use it to your advantage. Training intensity can replace training volume to a large degree. The harder you train, the less training you need to stimulate muscle and strength gains. So the key to making amazing gains while spending minimal time in the gym is to follow a low volume, high intensity training approach. In other words, focus on putting more effort into a reduced amount of training. On most sets, you want to leave 0 reps in reserve and only rack the bar when you know that you won't be able to complete the next rep without failing or sacrificing your form. When you learn how to train hard, you can get in and out of the gym quickly and pay less frequent visits to the gym. This is how me and members of my community are able to make incredible progress while working out just twice a week and having more time for the other areas of our lives. While this isn't hard to grasp, there's one problem. The average gym goer doesn't know how to train hard. And yes, I'm talking to you. Most people in the gym are going through the motions and leaving 3 to 5 reps in reserve on every set they do. They quit when it gets uncomfortable. This is the most inefficient use of time in the gym. And if you want to hear something crazy, let's talk about the concept of effective reps. In any given set taken to failure, only the last 5 reps actually stimulate muscle growth. If you did 3 sets to failure, you would have a total of 15 stimulating reps. But if you ended a set with 4 reps in reserve, like most people do, you'd get 1 effective rep per set. This means you would need 15 total sets to achieve the same number of stimulating reps as 3 sets to failure. Now, if that doesn't make you feel like you're wasting a shitload of time in the gym, I don't know what will. Doing fewer sets close to failure is a way more efficient use of your time. And not only that, but it will actually help you gain more muscle and make better long-term progress. Let me explain. If you were to choose to do more volume and lower your intensity to accumulate accumulate these effective reps, which is dumb unless you like wasting time, you'll fatigue yourself more and increase your chances of overtraining. And overtraining means no muscle and strength gains. So by doing less volume with more intensity, you're stimulating more muscle growth because training close to failure stimulates more muscle growth than leaving reps in reserve, and you're doing so without putting a huge dent in your recovery. This will lead to much better progress over time since you'll be able to recover between workouts quicker as a result of doing less volume and achieve consistent progress, which is the ultimate goal. The average person doesn't believe it's possible to make incredible progress training just 2 to 3 times a week on brief workout routines because they don't know what hard training is. If they did, they wouldn't be able to work out more than 2 to 3 times per week. Their bodies wouldn't be able to handle it. And this comes back to the trade-off between volume and intensity. If you find yourself able to spend hours in the gym every week, it's only because you're training like a pussy. As a general rule of thumb, if you think it's impossible to build muscle training just twice per week, increase your effort in the gym. Start pushing your sets to where you have 0 reps left in reserve, and even push it to failure on some exercises where it's safe to do so. You'll get in and out of the gym way quicker while at the same time producing more muscle growth and achieving more progression over the long term.